Welcome. Here is Picture Perfect Greek, and I am Andy. I'm a native Greek speaker. I'm also a university lecturer, and here we will introduce you to the Greek language, to the Greek as you need it when you are in Greece and you want to have some basic communication with Greeks. On this channel, you will find lots of resources for learning Greek. We also have more advanced topics. Actually, this channel began as a more advanced channel with texts for B and C level learners, but I wanted to offer something for beginners too. And so this is what this is. This is a course which I call Survival Greek. The basic idea is that it gives you some elements of basic communication in Greek, the first phrases you need from various areas. We will cover greetings, we will cover taking a transport, visiting sites, ordering in restaurants, getting a room in a hotel. All these basic things you need will be covered here. And so this is a very practical course. We don't do any grammar except for what you will need in order to construct sentences that are understandable. And we will go through these chapters every week. And in between these chapters, I also have all these other more advanced chapters. So we will be doing here the beginner course, but if you go to the YouTube channel, you will also find the more advanced topics. This will run in parallel. And so every week or every second week, I will give you here one of these beginner lessons. You can, if you want to have all the text, subscribe to my Substack, which is called holidaygreek.substack.com. You see the address here on the screen. It's also down in the description. But you can also buy all these texts in a book, an ebook, which is available on Amazon. And also, again, I will put a link here in the description. You can get the ebook. And there you will find all these texts that we discuss here and also additional materials in this book. Okay, so let's begin now with our first Survival Greek lesson, meeting and greeting people. And the goal here is to navigate the first few minutes of interaction with Greeks with some respect and confidence. The important thing is Greeks are very hospitable, they're very friendly people, and they really like it when you try to speak Greek, particularly because it is such a touristy country overrun by tourism, and very often tourists are not very appreciative of the Greek way of life. You know, you have these big cruise ships arriving that offload 4,000 tourists at once, and these 4,000 people go in these organized groups from side to side and take photographs, and then they don't interact with anyone. They eat on their ship, they just disappear again. So this is a kind of exploitative tourism, right, that just takes in the sights but refuses to engage with the local culture and to learn anything about the life of the locals or to communicate with them. And so it is very much appreciated by the Greek population if tourists are not like that, and if the Greeks see that a visitor puts in some effort in at least trying to say hello in Greek, right? And so this is what we will do here. Of course, the Greeks mostly speak pretty good English because it's such a touristy place, but it is still good for you to know how to communicate a little bit, and this is what we will do today. So when you begin meeting someone, the first thing you want to do is to say hello. The word for hello literally wishes health to the other person. Hello is based on the word υγεία. Υγεία means health. Is also the name of a big hospital in Athens. And what you would be saying is υγεία μας. Mas means to us, so health to us. And this is then abbreviated in order to be easier to say. We drop the E from the beginning and it becomes yamas or yasu. So you have two different ways of saying it, or three different ways. And this depends on how polite or how formal you want to be. If you are among friends, among people you know well, you will use the casual form εσύ. You use it with friends, with children, family, God and people who are younger than you, but they have to be significantly younger, right? Not just somebody who is 2 years younger than you. If you're a grown up, then he's also a grown up. So you would use the polite form. People who are significantly younger, who are in relation to you, like children. So let's say you are 60 and you meet somebody who is 20, then you might use this form. And this is the su, SC form. SC means you in the singular form. And so you would be saying ya su, health to you in the singular form. And then you have the plural form, which is very similar to how French does it or German does it. And this is the essis form. Essis means you, but in the plural form, you all there. And you use this with strangers, with people you don't know, doctors, police, officials, business settings. And this is grammatically the same as you as a plural form, and it shows respect. You're speaking as if there were multiple people there in front of you instead of only one. So the yasu would be yasu or yasas. Yasas is the polite form, yasu is the familiar form. And literally it means health to you. Yasu, health to you, one person, or yasas, health to you all. And whenever you enter a shop or a taxi, you are supposed to say yasas, the plural form, because you don't know the shopkeeper or the bus driver, right? They are strangers and you want to show respect when you're going. So you would say yasas. Although the Greeks will be very forgiving. I mean, they know you're a tourist, they know you don't know the language well. So if you say yasu because this is the only thing you can remember, then probably nobody will be offended. But of course, you want to do it right. Okay, the next question will be after you meet someone, you say hello. The next question is, how are you? What are you doing? How are you doing? Ti canis. And ti canis again has two different forms. Ti canis in the singular, how are you? Literally, it means what are you doing? But it's not meant in this way. Nobody will answer, I am just now cutting this steak or something like that. It is understood to mean, how are you? What are you doing? How are you doing? And the more official form, the more polite form, ti canete. What are you doing in the plural, right? Yeah, okay, so these are the two forms to ask. How are you? Ti canis, ti canete. And when you're leaving, a short greeting to say goodbye, very common, is addio. Addio is obviously not a Greek word, it's an Italian word. Addio means goodbye. It is the standard goodbye you can use in all situations. But you can also use yasu or yasas when leaving. So this is both hello and goodbye. And actually, I would use naturally yasu and yasas when I'm leaving also. The idea, I don't particularly use it much, but this is a personal preference, right? You can use either. Then there are a number of time-based greetings, like in English. Also, when you say good morning, good afternoon, good night. So we have this in Greek too. And kalimera, mera is the day. Kalos, kali, means good. Kalos is the masculine, kali is the feminine. So kali, mera means good day, literally. But in English, good day is not very common, right? Nobody says good day. You say good morning, good afternoon. Good day is relatively uncommon. But in Greek, it's very common. Kalimera is the most common thing. You can say it all day. You can say it, of course, it's a little strange to say it in the late afternoon. So you would use it normally from the moment you wake up in the morning until about 12 or 1 p.m. But I wouldn't have a problem using it also until 3 or 4 in the afternoon, right? So it's a general good day greeting. And this is also, shared enthusiastically on the streets, which means you should just be generous with that. You should use it a lot. Greeks are friendly people, right? They are not, I lived in Germany for a long time. Germans tend to be more reserved. So you go through the streets and nobody says anything to you. Nobody looks at you. This is not the case in Greece. So in Greece, when you go out, when you see people on the street, even, of course, people you know particularly, but even people you don't know, they might be greeting you. They might be smiling at you. They might be, especially if it's a smaller place, perhaps not in the center of Athens, but if you are in a village, holidaying, then you will be expected when you meet someone to say Kalimera, right? So use this, say Kalimera to everyone, smile at people. This is the right thing to do. So Galopoyum is the next thing. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You would use between 1 and 5 p.m. it says here, but you can use it a little earlier or later. Later specifically because, the Greeks are sleeping often between 2 and 5 o'clock roughly. So when they wake up, 5:30, then it is still kind of a poyevma. It's after the meal. This is what a poyevma literally means, after the meal. Yevma is the meal and a po means after, right? Afterwards, after something is finished. So after the meal, roughly between 1 and 5. And then we have Kalispera. And Kalispera is good evening. And this is used when it is going towards the evening. So when the sun is not high in the sky anymore, when it's slowly getting dark, when it's dusk, then you would use Kalispera. And this is late afternoon, evening, after 6 or 7 p.m. Then you would say Kalispera. And then we have Kalinichta. Kalinichta means good night, literally good night, and you use it more or less like you use good night in English. So you can use it for leaving. You wouldn't say Kalinichta when you meet someone in the evening, right? Then you would say hello, Yasu, Yasas. You wouldn't say Kalinichta when you meet someone. It's the same way like you don't say good night when you meet someone, right? So this is strictly for leaving, and you say Kalispera perhaps when you arrive, or you say Yasu when you arrive, and Kalinichta when you leave. And you can also say Kalinichta, of course, to your boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband in bed when you fall asleep, right? Then like you say good night in English, you would also use Kalinichta. Now, a few words of politeness that you will need. This, I said, it's everything you need for the first few minutes of conversation. So you would often be given something. You would say, Efcharisto. Efcharisto. Efcharisto means thank you. And I'm repeating it a few times so you can hear it, because this is a difficult word, right? Efcharisto is not something that comes naturally to non-Greeks or English-speaking people in particular, right? And Efcharisto just means thanks, thank you. You can make it a little more formal or more emphasized by saying Sas Efcharisto, I thank you, Sas, in the plural. So this makes it polite. I thank you politely. And you can also say Efcharisto poli. Poli means much, a lot. Efcharisto poli, thanks a lot, thank you very much. Next up, parakalo, which is serving two different functions. It can be please when you want something. Please, can you give me this thing? Or please, can you let me through? You can say parakalo. Or it also means, like in English, you are welcome. When somebody does something for you, when somebody does you a favor or gives you something, or you give them something, then they say Efcharisto, and then you would say parakalo as a reply to the Efcharisto. So when somebody thanks you, you say parakalo, you're welcome. This is the same use as in German. If I say it because many of my viewers are German, or people who speak German from other European countries, like the German bitte, which means please and you're welcome, right? And the next one is signomi. Signomi is a little confusing the way it's written, right? Because it's written with two gamma often, and it is pronounced signomi, not signomi. when you read it and you know the Greek alphabet, and I want to remind you, on this channel we have a whole collection of videos, 5 videos I think, that introduce gently the Greek alphabet in case you want to learn to read Greek, which you should. There you will see that the two gamma are a G sound, a G. So they are, it should be signomi, but it's not signomi, signomi, G with a gamma. Signomi, sorry, excuse me. And this is when you bump into someone or you need to get someone's attention, right? You want to ask someone the time and they are busy looking at the countryside, and then you would tap on their shoulder and say, Signomi, di ora in, what time is it? Of course, the most common words in every communication, yes and no. Ne is yes. This might be confusing to many users of other European languages because often the short N word is no, not, nein, but here it is actually the yes. It's the opposite, right? So it is yes, and often the yes is accompanied with a gesture, ne, ne. So you would, move your head a little bit up and down. And there is also a more polite or more emphatic form of yes, which is malista. Malista is not very commonly used. It's a little strange to use it in a familiar situation, but you would use it when you want to be particularly polite. So somebody serving you, a waiter in a restaurant, might say malista when you order something because they want to be particularly polite. It would be a little bit rough to say ne when you order something, right? He's expected then to say malista to show some politeness to the customer. And you can use it in similar situations when somebody asks you something and you want to be polite. You would say malista, perhaps. Your parents-in-law or something ask you if you want another drink, perhaps then you would say malista. And that's it. Otherwise, it's just a yes again, except that it's a little more formal. And then we have the no. And the no is όχι. Όχι means no. Όχι. Όχι. Now the hi might be a little difficult to speak. Again, I remind you, there is this alphabet lesson, and in these alphabet lessons, I also give you pronunciation tips, how to create these sounds, how to form them, and how to listen to them to see if you do it right. So go back there. For the moment, I just repeat it a few times. Όχι. Όχι. This is a very common sound in Greek. You have it also in echo or echi, which means to have. He has, she has. And so you will find this a lot in Greek, and you should learn how to make this sound. Όχι means no. Confusingly, the gesture is also the head moving up. Όχι. Όχι. No? Όχι. And often it's accompanied by a sound you make with your mouth. I exaggerated now. It's not so exaggerated, but means no. Okay? So you say this, or you would see people doing this when they say no to you, means no. They don't need to even say όχι. It's a little confusing because the nod of the head can mean both yes and no. The no is a little more pronounced, and it's often accompanied with this tongue clicking. Now you can answer yes or no, and the third option, if you are not sure whether yes or no is the right answer, is to say δεν ξέρω. Δεν ξέρω means I don't know. Then means not. Generally, in all kinds of contexts, a very common word, then. It's just pronounced like the English then. If I do something, then something will happen, this kind of then. And this is used also for the then, which means not. Xero means I know. Then xero. I don't know. And often the gesture would be something like this, right? I don't know. I open my hands. Δεν ξέρω. Δεν ξέρω. Δεν ξέρω. Δεν ξέρω. Often with the mouth also going down. Δεν ξέρω. Okay? I don't know. And this is very useful, right? Of course, as a foreigner, if somebody asks you something you don't understand what's happening, better say δεν ξέρω than saying yes or no. and then accidentally you've married someone, right? So I'm just joking. Okay, next one is endaxi. Endaxi is also, again, very common. Endaxi, my grandmother, my old grandmother, when I was a child, was once in Greece, and she was a German. She didn't speak any Greek, and she was wondering why the people always talk about taxis. So they weren't talking about taxis, they were saying endaxi. Endaxi means okay or all right. It's very common. Whenever somebody says something and you want to agree with him, you want to say, okay, let's do it, let's go, you say endaxi, πάμε. Πάμε means let's go. Εντάξει, πάμε. Shall we go? Εντάξει. And with endaxi, you will see also the different E's, right? At the end of the endaxi. And also here, tikanis is the next thing we talk about here, the answer to tikanis. And you see the kanis, the E, like with endaxi, is an epsilon iota at the end. So in Greek, we have 5 different E's. And so you need to be able to at least recognize that these are all E's. And again, in my alphabet lesson, you will find also these letter combinations explained. Okay, tikanis, how are you? We talked about this already. And the answer is kala. I'm well, thank you, I'm good. Kala means good. Good or well. So this is the standard answer to tikanis. How are you? I'm well. Kala. Ευχαριστώ. Thank you. And then, of course, you can say πολύ καλά if you are particularly well. So the kala doesn't actually mean anything. It's like in English when you ask someone, okay, hello, how are you? And he says, okay, I'm good, thank you. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just, I don't want to tell you. I want you to be happy and, thank you for asking, but I'm not telling you. This is what kala means. If you want to actually say, I'm well, today is a really good day for me, I feel very well, I'm happy, you say πολύ καλά. I'm very well. And πολύ means very, very much. So πολύ καλά, I'm very well. Very good. And then, of course, you can also ask καλά as a question. And it's more understandable if you ask something like όλα καλά? Όλα καλά? Is everything well? Όλα means all, right? It's the same word like in English, all. Όλα, all, καλά, good, all good. Is all good? Is everything good with you? So that's a question. Όλα καλά? And the answer is όλα καλά. Everything is good. All is good. And see how the tones change here, right? When you ask a question in Greek, you have to really lift your voice at the end. Όλα καλά. Όλα καλά. And the voice goes down again when you answer the question, right? So that's important because Greek has these tones, these stresses that are very important, because similar words with different stress can have different meanings. And you need to be able to know where the stress is. And so Greeks are, the Greek ear is, sensitive to stress changes and tone changes. And so you should, when you ask a question, really lift your voice at the end. Όλα καλά. And the answer is όλα καλά. The voice goes down at the end. Okay. And so this was it for our first lesson of Greek, Survivor Greek. I am happy that you are here. If the next video is already available, it will be now shown here in this Watch Next box, so you can immediately continue. If it's not yet there, there will be another relevant video here which you can watch until the other one becomes available. Go look at the channel. There are lots of videos for various stages of your Greek journey, and I hope that you will enjoy them. Thank you for watching this, and see you next time. Bye-bye.